If you are considering moving from a home that you own into another home and you don't want to keep the first one, perhaps you're considering, okay, how do I transition so that I don't have two mortgages? Well, if that's what you're thinking about, you're in luck because in today's video, I will be going over how you can navigate that process from selling that one that you live in to purchasing and what options you have. All right. So if you're ready, like I'm ready, let's get started. Hello, my name is Nonye Ononubu. I am a licensed real estate agent in the Chicagoland area. I help buyers and sellers transition from one neighborhood to another, or people who are moving here. So if that's you and you would like to, you need assistance with that, you don't have to do it alone. Let's navigate real estate together. My information is in the description below. So you want to move from one property to the next, and you don't want to have two mortgages. So what do you do? Okay, so what I'm not going to talk about in this video is the fact that you need to get that property ready and do all of those things, right? Because that's a given. If you want to sell a home, there are things that you need to do to get it done. I have another video on my channel where I talk about some of those things, so you can watch that video. Now, let's say you've taken care of all that. What do you do? We have something that's called a home sale contingency clause. You can put that in an offer that you're making to a seller to let them know, hey, I want to buy your home, but it's contingent on me selling my home first. So what's contingent or what's a contingency? Think of it as a condition. So I want to buy your house, but there is a condition. I need to sell this other place. Okay, so that's one option that you have. So let me break down that option for you and how this could work in a real life situation. So first things first, what you want to do is, like I said, prepare the home that you want to get rid of. So get that ready for sale, put it on the market. Let anyone who's coming to see it or buy it, like your realtor would hopefully know how to do this, right? Let them know that you're also looking to purchase something so that anyone who's coming to look at the house, they know that you're in the process of looking for something to buy. So the closing time frame may need to be extended from the normal 30 to 45 day window to maybe a 60-day window. All right. So that's how you begin on that end. So you price the property that you're trying to sell, get it on the market. And at this time, you are also getting pre-approved to buy the next home. You're talking to a lender. The lender knows, hey, I'm trying to sell this house. This is what I think we will get from it. And again, if you're working with an experienced realtor, the experienced realtor can give you a ballpark figure of what you may expect to get. I have a video on this channel as well where I talk about seller closing costs, so you can check that out as well. All right. So when you're talking with the lender, you have an idea of what you're going to get from that sale and how much of that are you going to put into your purchase. So the lender is using those numbers to pre-approve you for your purchase. While your house is getting on the market and you've taken pictures, all of those things, now you can begin to preliminarily look at what's on the market for sale in the area that you're looking for. I wouldn't recommend going to see any homes just yet. But just, if there's anything that you like, just save it and just keep an eye out for things that are coming on the market while yours is on the market as well. If your home is priced strategically and you get an offer right away, you put it under contract, the buyer is perhaps doing an inspection, and you have like the contingency period, you can wait till that's done. Once that's done with the buyer, remember the buyer knows you're trying to buy as well. Okay. Once that's done with the buyer and you guys have agreed to a time frame that would accommodate you also going to buy something, right? Now you begin actively looking for the home. The homes you have saved, if any one of them is still on the market, this is when you're probably going to take a look at them and see if you're ready to put in an offer. And then if there are new things coming on, so that period is you're very intensely looking for something to buy because you got to move. Your home is getting sold. Okay. It can be stressful, but you just plan ahead and know that, okay, once our house gets under contract, then we need to get serious about shopping for a home. And of course, you're carrying your realtor along. Hopefully, you're working with the same realtor. for the sale of your home as well as the buy, just so that there's that continuity. If you're in an area that uses attorneys, hopefully you're working with the same attorney so that there is that continuity as well. Okay? So you're intensely looking for a home. You find that home. You put it under contract. And in the contract, there is a section in our contract. So depending on where you are, hopefully there's a section for it. There's a section in our contract that is for a home sale contingency. So you're going to say, yes, I want to buy your home. However, I'm trying to sell mine. I already have it under contract. This is about when we're thinking we're going to close. Put all that information in there, like the way the contracts are set up, you just kind of put the dates in and things like that. All right. So that this seller can assess that offer and be like, okay, this is a risk for me, but yours looks like it's working out. So I will take your offer. All right. And that's where you also want to work with a realtor who's going to advocate for you to the seller side and saying, hey, this is what's going on with the sale of their home. Okay, and this is also why it's good to use the same realtor. This is what's going on with the sale of their home. The lender on that sale says everything looks good. We are on target to close at so day. We've already done the inspection. We've already been through blah blah blah. The appraisal has already been done, and things are just looking good. All right. So now the seller has some sort of reassurance. Now, what that contingency clause also looks like is there's something in there that allows the seller to keep advertising the home for sale. Okay. And if they're able to get another buyer without a home sale contingency, they can come back to you and say, okay, we have this other offer. They don't have a home sale contingency. Are you willing to drop your home sale contingency? Okay, so this is how ours is set up, and it's called a kick out clause. And it gives you a time frame. So it could be 24 hours, it could be 72 hours, it could be 48 hours. I would recommend 72 hours, right? So the seller comes back to you and says, hey, we have this situation. You have 3 days to either get rid of the contingency clause or we'll drop you and go with this other person. So that gives you time to go back to your buyer and say, hey, how's your loan looking? Are there any issues? Are we good? And if you have those conversations with them and everything looks like it's working well and we're still on target to close and we don't need to cancel this sale happening here, then I can go to the seller on my purchase. You can go to the seller on your purchase and say, you know what? You can drop the home sale contingency. I think we're good. And then you go forward with it. Okay? So that's one way to go through this process. The second way could be to do what's called use a bridge loan. So a bridge loan is where the lender will give you a loan to get from point A to point B. So you're trying to sell your home, you're anticipating you're going to get X number of dollars from there that you want to use towards your down payment for the purchase of another home. The lender can front you that money for a short time period, maybe about a month or so you can go ahead and buy that house. And then when yours closes, you pay off that bridge loan. Previously, I just talked about the kick out clause that you can have with the seller, where the seller says, hey, we have a new offer. Are you willing to get rid of your contingency, your home sale contingency on the offer that we have? Right? So if that happens, you can also talk to your lender and see, can we do a bridge loan situation so that I don't lose this house I'm trying to buy because the buyer on this end is having issues clearing their loan. All right. So the bridge loan is also another tool that you can use to essentially navigate the situation. So if let's say you're trying to use a bridge loan from the beginning, all right, I will still recommend that you put your home on the market for sale first and then house hunt for something else. If you find something first, try and negotiate a longer closing date so you don't have to use the bridge loan while you're trying to sell your home. You put your home under contract, you have a closing date for that. Hopefully it's before you buy, you don't have to use the bridge loan, but if it's maybe a week or 2 weeks after you're going to purchase, right? So you're going to get that money from the sale of your current home, after you've already bought the new one, then that's where the bridge loan will kind of front you the money that you're expecting from the sale so that you can purchase the new home. All right. Hope that's making sense. Let me know in the comments if you need any clarification um, off of what I'm saying so far. All right. So far we've talked about the home sale contingency clause. We also talked about using a bridge loan. One other thing you can do is essentially outright sell that home, perhaps do what's called a lease back on the home. Tell whoever is buying it, I'm gonna sell you this home, but I want to rent it back from you for X amount of dollars for X amount of months, maybe 60 days. And you guys have that agreement up front. Okay, there's a way it works out where some money can be held in an escrow account to pay the buyer, da 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 da. Like we can all work it out. So you do that and essentially put your house on the market and say we may need a lease back. All right? The buyer agrees, you're going through that process. Now you're house hunting. If you find something, you don't have to do the lease back. Okay? But if you don't find something, now you have the lease back to fall back on. So you then lease the home from the buyer for a couple of days or weeks, however long it is, till you're able to close on your purchase. So that's one option. What this does is it prevents you from having to move out and kind of, you're in limbo and then eventually you buy something, but you're able to at least stay in your current home. And then once you close on the home that you're buying, then you can move out to that property. Another option would be to essentially move out, sell your home, move out. Let's say you have 2 weeks or so in between the closing of your sale and the closing of your purchase. You could stay in a short-term rental for a week or two while the new home is, you're getting ready to buy the new home. And since you already closed on your sale, you have that cash that you can put into the purchase. So I have an example of like a situation I had. We were selling their condo and they were buying a house. So what happened was we eventually got a buyer for the condo, and now it was just a hard time finding a home for them. We were so close. We were 3 weeks to closing on the condo. And it was an extended closing because we told them, hey, we're trying to find something. So we kind of pushed it out. But the way the market was, it was just difficult to find something. We had multiple offers. We had just like constantly just going out. Anyway, we eventually find something. And the closing dates were like maybe 5 days apart or something like that. So what these clients ended up doing was they actually moved out of the condo because like, do we structure a lease? But it wasn't negotiated earlier and they actually just wanted to get out. So what they did was and someone had kind of hinted at this. I heard it somewhere and I was like, oh, this would work perfect for my clients. So what I told them was, hey, get a U-Haul, or one of those pods or something where you could put your stuff in there. And then wherever you're going to be for that week, just hang out there. When you close, then you grab your stuff from the U-Haul and move it into your home so that you're not grabbing your stuff from the U-Haul, getting a storage space, offloading everything. And then when you get the new home, you're offloading it from the storage space into a U-Haul and then offloading it to your house. So in this situation, you're moving it 4 times versus you move it to the U-Haul, park the U-Haul somewhere. Thankfully, they had a safe place to park the U-Haul for about a week. And then once we closed on the one that they were buying, they were able to take the U-Haul, drive it to the new home, and then offload at the new home. All right. You may be able to get a moving company to move your stuff, store it for you for a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is, while you are in a short-term rental, or maybe you're on vacation that week, right? And you guys are just out. So they store it at that period. When you come back, you close on your new home, the storage company brings it to your new property and then offloads there for you. So that's one way you can also do it to kind of help make the process a little bit easier. And you don't have to, keep moving especially the heavy items in and out of storage or in and out of moving trucks. So far, I talked about having the home sale contingency clause in the offer that you put to the seller. I also talked about doing a lease back from your buyer of the home that you're selling before you purchase. We also talked about a bridge loan to help you transition over, depending on how you set it up. And then considering a short-term rental while you wait to close on the home that you're buying. So right after you sell, you move into a short-term rental, and then when you close, you move from there into your new property. Selling one property and purchasing another one can be a little stressful, but if you have the right team working with you, from the lender, your realtor, the attorneys, if you are in an area that uses attorneys, right? Those people can be support systems for you as you transition through this process. If you're even lucky, right, you could even have a situation whereby your home sells on the same day in the morning, and then in the afternoon, you're buying your new property. So that in the morning, you just have all your stuff in a U-Haul or whatever moving truck you have. After closing, you offload it into your new property at the end of that day. Hopefully, this video has been helpful to you, and it's helping you kind of figure out what you need to do to set yourself up for success if this is the situation that you're in. If you can handle two mortgages and you can rent out the one and not have to sell it, perhaps that's something you can do just to make it a little easier on yourself. But if you can't, that's okay. We have options. So if you have any additional questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, or you can schedule a one-on-one consultation with myself. No obligations at all. My information is in the description below. If you found this helpful, please do like this video and subscribe for more videos. And I will see you in the next video that I have linked here.